Hi everyone, I'm Linda with Life on Summerhill and welcome to my home. Today we will be making a tassel fringe rug for your home. This project is an easy project made out of a drop cloth and yarn. So let's get started. Okay, let's get started. To begin, you're going to need a small book. You're going to need some thin yarn, and you can use regular yarn, but I like the thinner yarn because I feel like the tassels hang better. And then you're going to need some scissors and possibly like a crochet needle or something to help you push the thread through. Now your tassels are going to look like this when we're finished, and this gives you an idea of what the thinner yarn looks like. Okay, so let's push those out of the way and let's get started making a tassel. So the first thing I recommend you do is you take your yarn and you're going to sit it inside the book. The next thing is you're going to start wrapping the yarn around the book 50 times. Now, if this is a thicker yarn, you'll need to only do it 40 times. And if it's thicker than that, then only 30 times. I also recommend that you start this direction, not overlapping this area here. So we're going to start this direction and we're going to wrap 50 times. Okay, so I've got 50 turns around the book. I'm gonna cut the end here. And then I need an 8-inch piece. So it doesn't have to be exactly 8 inches, so you can eyeball it if you're good with this. But you need an 8-inch piece if you're not good with eyeballing it. And then I'm going to need a 24-inch piece in a little while, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it. So again, it doesn't have to be exact, so I'm just going to eyeball about a 24-inch piece. Okay, so I'm going to push this out of the way. I'm going to keep this here in front and keep this 8-inch piece in front of me here. So our next step is we're going to put this under the yarn here up against the pages. Now this is where this tool can come in handy. Sometimes I'm lucky and I don't need this, sometimes I need it. But you're gonna take, and I like to let gravity work with me, and you're gonna slide this underneath, and look how beautiful it came out for you guys. So I didn't need this, but if you do need this, you just push it under there. So once you have it through, you're gonna take and you're going to match the yarn at the top. And I like to pinch this together to just kind of make it nice and snug and tight. And then I'm gonna tie once and I'm gonna tie again. And the reason why I'm tying twice is because when I pull this down, it seems to secure it. It doesn't want to come up on me. So now I'm gonna lift up and pull down. I'm gonna keep lifting up and pulling down. Lifting up and pulling down. And I'm doing this to get this as tight as I can get it. Then, like I said, it's holding there because I looped it twice. I'm gonna loop one more time and make a knot. So this is the part that we're gonna use to tie the tassel to the drop cloth rug. So now we're going to slide the tassel off of the book. This really is a fun project, you guys. I mean, I sat in front of the TV making all these, and it was just so pleasant and relaxing. Okay, so I like to smooth down the yarn 2 or 3 times until I get it nice and tight looking. Then I take my 24-inch piece of yarn and I'm going to make a loop like this. A loop with the yarn. I'm going to lay that on my tassel, like so. Hold it with my finger. And one thing I want you to be aware of is make sure that the end of the loop is up here at the top. Okay? So grab this in your hand. Make sure you've got that loop with your thumb. And you're going to take this 24-inch piece and you're going to start wrapping around the top of the tassel, like so. Okay? So then we're going to do it again, and as I do the second one, I'm going to pull it tight, and I'm going to make sure that it's not on top, that it's next to it. Then I'm going to keep repeating with the next one. Still making sure, and I'm going to pull tight each time I turn it. We'll pull, turn, pull again, turn, and again. I'm going to do this 8 times. Once I have my 8th one completed, this is the cool part. I love this part of this project. See that loop that's hanging out the bottom? You're going to run the thread through that loop, bring it forward. Again, make sure you're on the bottom. You don't want to overlap. Bring it forward, and you're going to hold it tight. And then this piece, remember me pointing out that this piece here is sticking out the top, that you need to make sure it's sticking out the top? Well, we're going to pull it now, and watch, like magic, it's going to disappear. That little loop is going to disappear up inside there. Now, when you get close to the top, and I kind of can feel like that loop there, once I get close to the top, I take my scissors and I snip the thread. Then I take this piece, and you'll notice that there's a little bit of that thread showing where I snipped it, and I'm gonna hide it behind. And like magic, it's gone. I love this project. So now that we have our tassel made, it's time to cut the tassel, and here's my trick on cutting. I lay the tassel in my hand where the end is just off the side. Then I close my fist. I kind of pull on this top just to make sure everything's nice and smooth. Then I take my scissors and I cut this direction part of the way. Then I turn it and I cut this direction the rest of the way. And then I'll trim up a few pieces, make sure it looks nice and pretty. And like magic again, I just love this project. And then I spread it out and I have the first tassel made. Okay, so I want to show you a trick before we move on to the drop cloth. After you've made your first tassel and you've put together your second tassel, I'm going to show you my trick to measuring the length of all of the tassels the same length. So I put them in my hand together, and then I'm going to close my fist, making sure that this one is in the right place and making sure they're lined up here. Okay, then I'm going to turn it over and see they're right in the right place, and then I'm going to trim this guy. Flip him, trim, and then I'll go back and look for any like places that I need to trim it up. Be really careful when you're doing this. You want to trim above your hand. You don't want to you don't want to get your skin into it. So I just trim above my hand, and that way I don't get my skin. So we'll push this aside, and we've got 2 tassels completed. So I think we're ready to start working on the drop cloth. So I'm gonna clear everything off, grab the drop cloth, and we'll start again. Okay, everybody, we are back here, and we've got the drop cloth material on the table. One thing I wanted to tell you about the drop cloth material, I have a specific one I really like. It's a canvas drop cloth. It's a good quality. This is important because I have gotten cheap ones. They don't wash well, and you can wash this drop cloth rug. So, that's in the materials list. And the other thing I wanted to share with you is this particular drop cloth, if you haven't already noticed, is bleached. I do like to bleach my drop cloths sometimes, and the way I do that is I put them in my top load washer for 4 hours with a ½ gallon of bleach. It's a lot of bleach, but it works like magic. So let's get started on measuring out your drop cloth here on the table. The first thing you'll need to do is you'll need a long measuring ruler. I like this really long one when I'm sewing and stuff, so it comes in very handy. But you're gonna need this drop cloth. You're gonna need to measure 27 inches this way, and then you're gonna need to measure 39 inches this direction. Now, I've already drawn this out to save us some time, but what I do is when I finish marking here and marking there, I go and I check, like I'll check here and I check here, and then I check on this end, and then I'll check on this end and make sure everything's coming out nice and square. Okay, so like I said, I've already marked it with my pencil. And believe it or not, I have a favorite pencil, so I'm gonna put that in the materials list also. It's a great pencil, I love to use it. I love hanging pictures with it too, because it erases very well on the wall when you're hanging pictures. So let's get started, and let's cut our drop cloth material. Okay, so it's time to iron the hem, and I'm gonna grab my ironing board and put it up here on the table. And before I actually start ironing in a hem with my heat and bond, I like to iron down a fold. And for this project, I do a 1-inch fold. If you're good at eyeing this, I say go for it. But if you're not, you can use a little tool like this to help you do that 1-inch fold. So it's just basically, it gives you like a guide to work as you go. And like I said, it doesn't have to be exact. It can be, you know, within 1/8 of an inch. It can be very close. So then we're going to open that fold like so. And you're going to use heat and bond. I like to use this super weight heat and bond because I want something a little more durable sitting out on my porch. My porch is covered, so rain won't get on this, but it's still, you know, there's weather, there's temperature changes and everything. Okay, so you've put your heat and bond down here, right up against that fold. You lay the top piece down, and this is where you're going to hold the iron, press it down 3 to 5 seconds. Then you'll move to the next one, hold it down 3 to 5 seconds. Then you keep going, 3 to 5 seconds. If it looks like it's coming up where you've just done it, you can always go back and just press down for a couple more seconds. Okay, so you're probably noticing that I'm leaving it frayed on the end, but I promise you that's okay. When you wash it, some of this fraying will come out, and all you do is just snip it and then lay it right back down on your porch. So let's do a little bit more. And then I've already made a drop cloth where I've hemmed it all the way around, so I don't have to do this whole one. We can jump right to the fun part, which is coming next, which is putting the tassels on. Okay, so I think you get the idea on this. So we're gonna pick this up and we're gonna go to the next step, which is putting the tassels on the drop cloth rug. Okay, so we're gonna take my grandmother's ice pick and we're gonna use it to make a hole in the canvas, be able to attach these tassels. So what I like to do is I place the ice pick on my mark and I kind of wiggle it around, because what my goal here is to go in between the threads of the fabric. I'm trying not to break it, I'm trying to go in between it. So I just keep working my way through until it comes out the other side. And then I push it on down, because the ice pick gets thicker up here and I want a big enough hole for my yarn to go through. So I just keep pushing it down and then I pull it back out. So now I have a hole for my tassel. So what I like to do is I like to take and twist this as tight as I can until I get a point down here at the end. And then I take and I push it through that hole. So once you have it through there, you're basically going to leave that much of the yarn sticking out. So then you're going to flip it over like so, and then we're going to tie it on the back side. So I tie it in a knot, I trim my yarn.